Hey, Dirt Farmer Jay here from dirtfarmerjay.com. If you are like us, you like to give things multiple lives. That is, instead of just buying something, using it, and throwing it in the trash can, if you can get it to do double or triple or even beyond that duty, it's a great thing. Well, what about these dudes? Well, we've got a great little process that shows you how to get multiple lives out of it and have some great home decor at the same time. Stay tuned. Hey, Dirt Farmer Jay here from dirtfarmerjay.com. So let's go ahead and get started on this cool little project that'll allow you to repurpose and use several times those Ziploc type of bags, storage bags. Now, something I'm going to say, we don't generally reuse ones that we've had meat in it, like chicken or beef, something that's like that, just to keep it sterile. But things that have been like lettuce, dry goods, and so forth, washing them out and using them many times is a smart thing to do. And we practice that with other things like these types of sports drink bottles. These become bottles that we use around the house. They're really handy during the summer when you're working out. We keep a big old stock of them in both our garage and main kitchen refrigerator. And the other thing, and you can see this on one of our other videos, we reuse all these little plastic bags you pick up from major retailers. And we'll show you in that other video, you can see it at the end card, how to actually wind these up. These are extremely handy from everything from pet cleanups, if you catch my drift there, as well as just kitting something together, carrying something to gift to somebody, or just little trash disposal bags we use in our vehicles. So get as many uses out of these as you can before you put them in the actual garbage can. But let's talk about how to build this cool little project. This is a great little intro project. And even if you don't end up using it to dry these kind of bags after you wash them, it looks great on the counter. As a matter of fact, we have family members that just use them as decor items. They've been around in our family for many years. But this is a pretty straightforward little project. You're going to start with a base like this. And you can either buy some of these at crafts type of stores like Hobby Lobby, or in our area, Joann Fabrics or Michael's, those sort of things. Or you can make them yourself like I did here. And this is approximately 5 inches wide by 7 inches long. You can modify that around. And by the way, you can check down below in the description. There's a link down there for just a sketch giving you all the dimensions. And so you can just reference those when you build these. If you're going to build one, build a couple and give them away. Although I'm just showing a single set here today. 5 by 7, 3/4 inch. I routed a little nice profile on the edge, sanded it up, and varnished it with a nice type of varnish like this, something that's going to really resist water. I like the oil base, but you can do water based as long as it is more an exterior type of varnish, because you're going to drip water onto this. It's in the kitchen environment. So go ahead and give it the protection it needs with the great finish. So you've got the base. The next thing you need is some little foot bumpers like this. These are clear bumpers. This costs probably about $2. And what these bumpers are going to do is raise this off the counter so that water that does pool around on the counter doesn't get on the bottom edge of this and cup it. You want this to stay nice and dry and flat. And these bumpers will do that without corrosion or marks on your counter. Next thing you need is some 3/8 inch dowels, and these are 3/8 inch holes that I've drilled kind of like in a triangle here. Again, the drawing will tell you where those are placed. And I like dowels to be about 11, 12, and 13 inches high. Gives a little bit of interest and separation. So these little dowels are ready to insert in here. And then there's a little series of birdhouses here that we've made. Now these are actually started just with stock like this. This is a common nice piece of 2x4. We sanded it. Then I ran it through the table saw with the blade set at a 45-degree angle to make a piece of stock like this. This happens to be one of the taller ones. It's kind of a mid-range one, actually. You can do them different sites, but it isn't one of the taller ones versus one of these little short guys like this. All right, so these are about 1 3/4 inch long, about 1 3/8 wide, and then there's some various heights. Again, look for that in the drawings that are provided below. But they all start out this way, and then you just cut them to length either with a miter box, handsaw, or in my case, have a nice compound miter saw with a nice finish blade. And I'm just going to cut these into sets and make them. We're going to take this stock after we've cut it, and we're actually going to drill some 3/8 inch holes right below it, some 1/8 inch holes where type of perch material, and that's just regular 1/8 inch dowel. You can see a full length here. We cut that in there just to give it a little bit of whimsy, a little bit of depth. And then you're going to get some outside corner. Now, the outside corner is sold as a molding at your home center. Sometimes they will carry this large, other times they don't. But what you need to make this work is 1 1/4 outside corner. So make sure you're not getting 1 inch because it won't cover it unless you downscale everything else. We found this size to be really good for drying those bags because after you put the bag over and let it suspend down, this forces the bottom of the bag open nicely, allow air to circulate, and for the bag to dry quickly and adequately. All right, we go ahead and pre-paint several of these, put them all together. As you can see, they're kitted already, and now the fun begins. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put these on the bottom. Okay, so there we go. We have these nice 4 little rubberized feet that moisture doesn't matter, and you've got this nice base to set it on. So it looks great on the counter. It doesn't slip very easily. So now we've got those. Now what we're going to go ahead and do is put the dowels in. I kind of like the short one up front and then the others, but this is your project, so you can just go ahead and put it the way you like. We're going to go ahead and put a dab of glue. When you go to insert the dowels, I like to get, you can see there was a label there, we're going to put that down in there, but to make these easier to insert, it's always helpful to chamfer the end slightly. Round off that with a 45 like this, and get those so that they're easier to insert in these holes. You don't want them to be loose, but you also want it to fit nicely as you put it in there so you're not splitting anything. And so over time, you want these to stay perpendicular and not be floppy. So we're going to go ahead and start the first one. Going to tap that in. There it is. It bottomed out nicely. And then you can choose either one of these. All right, now you have your perches. You can see the glue is working just fine. Got a little bit of glue that was starting to come out at these corners. And now just to make it really easy to deal with, I'm going to actually spray a little bit before I put the top on. Here we go. Notice I did not spray at the top because I want the glue there, but that allowed me to handle the whole project when it wasn't completely finished. All right, it's up to you of which ones go where. I kind of like the large one back in one of the corners here, but again, it's up to you. Now we're going to go ahead. I should have chamfered each edge, but let's just see here if this will fit okay. Nope, we're going to go ahead and chamfer them. Epic fail on screen, but that just shows you just the things you need to keep an eye out. So we're going to go ahead and chamfer that a little bit. All right, we're going to go ahead and put some glue here. And you can choose whether you want this to be the front of the rack or you want the other side, so you can turn the birdhouses the way you'd like them to be. Using a soft face hammer like this allows you to actually pound that on. And of course, you're going to keep these parallel or perpendicular to the front edge, so you wouldn't have them going off an angle unless you just like that kind of thing. It's your project, remember? All right, so now here we are. We're going to go ahead and sand off some of this. All right, let's go ahead and make sure these are on line with each other. So that looks pretty doggone good. That one can be adjusted just a hair. There we go. All right, now you have all of these in place. Next step then is just to go ahead and varnish everything again, hit the back edges. All right, there you have a nice little finished project right there that'll look beautiful sitting on your counter or up on the top up here. It's a great way to do something practical, get more uses out of something, and do it in a really fancy dancy way. Hey, if you have a tip like this you'd like to pass on to your fellow viewers, won't you say something about it in the comment section below? And we'd like to give you credit for it if you do, so send us your ideas. And if you found this video to be helpful, won't you like it? And better yet, subscribe to our channel, ring on the bell so that you'll get instantaneous notification every time we put out a video about the home, the shop, the kitchen, or great product reviews. We'd love to have you watch us in the future episodes. Hey, until the next time, this is Dirt Farmer Jay from dirtfarmerjay.com.